From the beginning of Forging Brains podcast, we've had the great sponsor, Farrier Box. They're doing something that's really different in our trade to give you guys, anything of the latest and greatest tools and designs that you may not necessarily want to go purchase off the shelf because you're unsure, but they'll give it to you in a subscription box every other month. So you can go to the website, farrierbox.com, use code BRAINS, and get yourself 25% off your first month's box. They're innovative and doing something kind of that hasn't been done before in our trade. So go show your support, sign up with Farrier Box, and you won't be disappointed with all the pretty cool stuff that you get. There's a lot of things that I implement in my day-to-day shoeing that I probably wouldn't actually have gone out because I'm kind of a tightwad when it comes to stuff like that. And so it's pretty cool to have Farrier Box supporting Forging Brains and helping you guys out through your day-to-day life too.
All right, welcome everybody to another episode of Forging Brains podcast. I'm your host, Riley Kirkpatrick, with my co-host, Gavin Cooper. And it's just been a while since we've got on here for a little bit. It's springtime busy. Everybody knows how that goes, so it's hard to get guests lined up and get everybody on the same wavelength. And we've just been super busy and gone. So me and Gavin decided to be some Lone Rangers tonight and hop on here.
Yeah.
Just chat it up. It's always a good chance just to it's an excuse to talk to your buddies for a little while.
Yeah.
Like a designated time of oh yeah.
It's like a recorded phone call.
I got this work call I gotta get on. So I gotta get to it.
Yeah, we can kind of talk about what we've been doing and kind of, what we're going to be doing and working on in the near future.
And what you've been doing, dude, is winning a class at the last WCB.
Blind squirrel gets an acorn every now and again.
Hey, take it in. Take it where you can get it.
Take it where we can get it, I guess.
Exactly. Dude, how'd it go?
I was kind of surprised. I wish I would have done better with the tongs, to be honest with you. But, it was good. Turned out good.
What happened in the tong class for you?
The tongs, everything lined out pretty good, but I had a twist in the jaws. So, when he hold them, they were just twisted ever so slightly.
You look down them.
Yeah, and he did not like that. So
it's such an easy thing to have happen
and overlook.
Oh, and I'd say the worst part about it, it's an easy thing to fucking fix.
Yeah,
you just have to think of it.
I didn't think of it.
That's all it comes down to is you just have to remember. Oh yeah, double check that real fast.
Yeah, we didn't overlook, didn't check it one bit.
Dude, it happened. It's anybody's made tongs. Even if you've made them for a long time, it's still easy to do.
I even got them right here. Actually, they just got a little twist in them.
Yep.
Down the middle.
Yep. So it just holds this. So it holds your stock crooked.
Yeah.
It is it's kind of it doesn't matter. It's it does. It's nice to know your stock is square when your reins are square.
Those are one of the guidelines he had pointed out. He's I want them to be straight.
Yep.
And that's what got me. So he held true to that. And the crazy thing is John went back and forth through the table so many times, how what you and I did. We'd go through them back and forth, and I would see him. He'd be up there at the front or whatever, and it was towards the end of the day, all the shoes are done, right, for the day. All the classes are done. And you see him there at the end of the table, and you're all right, maybe now he's done with it, and it's going to be where it's going to be. And especially for the individual day where my shoes are sitting 1 and 2.
Yeah.
And then he's going back through them again. I was like, fuck, man. Hopefully they stay where they're going to stay. And Craig, John was over judging the match play shoes one round, and we were standing there, and Craig's like, well, where are yours at? And I was like, there and there. He's like, that's pretty good. And I was like, well, hopefully he doesn't come back through and drag them back down. He's like, well, where are they going to go? 10th? He's got them there for a reason. I was like, well, let's hope they do. Hope they stay.
Let's hope they stick around right there.
So, yeah.
What do you think that day, the class that you won, what do you think you did good to help you win it?
Something that I hadn't done. So something that was an eye-opener for me was the Foz contest, which was a few weeks before. I had made plenty of the shoes, but I had never ran the goes at home. So beforehand, I think I ran like 5 or 6 goes of the individual class by my own. So I knew in my head, like I had a system and I knew what I
Yeah.
needed to get done and just roll on. And I think that's the thing that helped me out the most was I was able to make this. I had the system down beforehand. So then I was just
Yep.
able to go in and do it. And I'd kind of seen some of the shoes that were on the table. And I know the shoes that I had made before then. So I was like, I think I can make shoes just as good as that. So
Yeah.
I think that was the biggest thing I helped was the practice leading up to that as I ran like 5 or 6 time goes at home.
And you've been going quite a bit over to Troy's house just to have you guys judge each other's shoes.
That and then try to get some 2-man goes in, because
Yeah.
aside from just making the shoes, like the physical fitness part, I think the stamina of being able to get through the go helps out a ton, especially with the big draft stock. And this next one for Edgewood, dude, that's the hard thing is there's only one shoe for each class. So it's like, how do you practice a go?
Yeah, especially where you're like, man, that's what helped me this
Yeah.
last time.
Such a huge kick in the nuts.
Yeah, and then you're like, you're just gonna take that soapbox right out from underneath.
Yeah. In my head, I was like, all right, that's what I'm going to plan on doing for the next one is I'm going to do time goes.
That again.
And then now there's only one shoe, and I'm like, well, see what happens.
What's your strategy then right now?
Right now I've just been making the shoes by themselves, obviously. And I think what I'm going to do is just I'm going to add in a shoe. Maybe just like for the individual class, I'm probably just going to add in like a roadster and then just make a roadster with it. And then that way I can make like a shoe because that's the thing that like makes you want to bang your head against a wall is like, what's that other shoe going to be?
Yep.
And like, you don't want to make it something super easy because then you'll not be true to yourself or whatever. And like, you can, false hope, I guess, and think like you got all the time.
If you make it a little harder, then if it is easier, you're like, boom, I got it.
Yeah.
Like,
so
this is definitely in the bag.
So that's kind of my thought process is probably start running some goes as we get closer and then just throw a shoe in there. And that way, where the one shoe needs to be.
Get that shoe that you do know probably as fast as you can.
Yeah.
Whittle
you can have time to whittle around with the other one.
If you need it.
Yeah. If we need it.
If you need it. No, I think that's a good opportunity to do.
So a thing that's funny is Doug, the guy that let me keep my forge and stuff at his place, he's a horseshoer as well. Yeah. And I was running out of hot rasp at the last one, fucking from rasping on tongs. I was like, hey, if you got your old rasp, bring them over. I could use them for hot rasping. So I get back from Amarillo, and on my anvil, there's like a stack of fresh rasps to use for hot rasp. And then all these shoes are hammer finished. So I got all these rasps now.
You'll need
all
them.
Hammer finished.
You'll need them eventually.
Yeah.
So the whole list coming up is hammer finished.
Yeah, the only thing that's rasping that we know of is on the foot.
The shoeing.
Yeah.
On the shoeing.
That's another thing too is match play is 3/8 by 1, and on the foot is 3/8 by 1. So something I've been trying to do is just make oddball sizes of like 9 inches of 3/8 by 1.
Yep.
Because it'll help out for match play as well.
Yep.
So go hand in hand that way.
I like making shoes out of 3/8 by 1 though. Sometimes it's
when you have your measurement,
it's pretty nice. Yeah.
Yeah, when you know what you need.
Yeah, and you just gotta like. Anytime I'm under like 10 inches or under, it's like I just always tell myself like whip on it a little more than you think. In the straight or in the boomerang, because it's always chunky and once it's bent. Like there's just something that happens in your head that you're like, you're in the straight of the boomerang, you're like, oh, that's already too narrow.
Yeah.
And then you bend it and you get it there, you're like, fuck, I'm chunky again.
Yeah.
So like, God damn
it's hard.
It is so hard. So it's like, that's always, I'm like, all right, it's under 10 inches. Like I run it up and then I'm like, yeah, that's good. I'm like, no, one more, dude. One more easy one. And then you'll probably be close. Like you'll probably still have to hit it again, but.
Something some guys have been telling me is leave the thickness in there. Like run it up and leave it a little bit thicker.
Yep.
And then if you need it, you got it.
you can always rob from it.
Yeah.
Especially when you leave things kind of nice and thick like that too, you get to like when everything's done, that's when you have some in the bank to get that crispness back, to iron it back out.
Yep.
Where if you're already whipped down throughout the process, you got nothing to hit, nothing to flatten after you folded and everything else.
Yeah.
All that's gone on. So it kind of fucks you.
I think that was kind of like the mindset that Sawyer probably is putting with this 3/8x1 portion of it, is try to teach people on how to make a section.
Yeah. I think that's a great test. That's like, man, it's like, I think even Craig put out that cool little basics, intro to basics. That like the 4 steps I think he has out right now.
Yep.
And that's something that he kind of pushing throughout, is like how to make your section throughout the shoemaking process.
Yeah.
It's not just like one and done thing. Like it is something that you're honing the whole entire time throughout making a good horseshoe. And making it from 3/8x1 just kind of lets you do that a lot of times.
It's a good thing, like, with the videos we make, we usually make like the whole process start to finish. I think it's good that he's making a video with the length. The whole video length of it is just the one step. It's not just rushed through. Like when we make our videos or whatever, we're not necessarily focusing on just turning the toe. We're kind of just showing the process of it.
So it's more of like our videos, it's like sometimes less educational, sometimes a little more just like a hook, of like, oh, that's cool, I'm going to go try it type deal.
Yep.
Where like Craig is like okay, you tried it once and now you want to know what the fuck you're actually doing.
Yeah.
Probably fucking watch this now. Where it's like, he definitely hones in it. It's good. I loved watching it because they're like kind of a little throwback to when we first started competing at WCB.
Yeah.
He did all those videos, dude, and we'd watch all the videos, and it was just like that, just up close shots, him talking, each hammer blow, and it's like, man, it taught me so much about forging.
That's what taught me everything.
I still have them in my head when I'm like running like a shoe up backwards from the heel to the toe, on the horn, of like making a nice section through there. It's like, just got Craig in
one that sticks to my mind is he did the weld in the one burner. I think it was when he used to have the old Isuzu truck.
Dude,
Forge welding in the one burner. And
the Valley one burner that was clapped out.
Yeah.
It was shit. Like, it had no liner left in it. Dude, and he made the bar stock.
Oh, he did?
I want to say he made he welded 2 pieces together and then he made this bar shoe. So I could be wrong on that, but it was a bar shoe in the end.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. And it was nuts, dude. I forgot about that.
And then he would always, like, something that sticks to my mind every day. Like when you're welding a bar shoe, he would always be like, all right, we're going to do a third weld just for good measure. So I'm going to go in for a third weld just for good measure.
Dude, it's in my head. I think for some reason I'm like, you have to weld 3 times.
Yeah, and you just have
to.
But
no, you can weld in one heat sometimes. But I'm like, let's give her 2 more just to make
for
sure.
Good measure.
Just to make sure. Let's not fuck around here. Dude, that was something that was so hard for me all the way through a long time. It was just getting nice, clean weld with no seam.
Yeah,
I could get them to stick.
Yeah,
but the no seam part, dude, it was.
You can still be on your game, and you can still get a seam. Yeah,
dude, it's like now I just like, but where it was fucking me was like some reason I thought, oh, I'm a bitch if I need to use a cross peen to weld good, and now I'm like, fuck it, I'm just gonna use my cross peen. I can weld great every time with the cross peen. Just use the cross peen.
Yeah.
Where when I tried to use the rounding hammer, I would always come in those first few swings and just do weird shit with my hammer.
And you're almost creating a divot, which is creating another seam.
I would make that little seam that like you could just never get cleaned out because now it's just like a shut.
Yep.
With some fucking flux and slag stuck in it that I can't get out. But dude, the cross peen, I can just go ahead and peel it all towards me. Get all that shit out of there. It works out great.
It's also a big moment, like when you're first learning how to make bar shoes, you think you have to have it like the seam paper thin to be able to weld. It's like
I didn't understand it at all.
Like that was like shoeing school, like thinking like, oh, I gotta have it like paper thin, ready to be welded, and like that's actually like the worst thing sometimes because it's
Horrible.
never gonna stick.
No, because what happens is that you do this like shelf thing, For some reason, you put it on your anvil fate, your edge, and you do this shelf, and you make that fucking scarf super thin. You're like, that's gonna get so hot and just melt together.
Yeah, it's gonna weld itself.
Well, it does get really hot, and it gets almost like fucking burnt, and now it's kind of like carbonized. And you pull it out, and it gets cold really fast too.
Yep.
And so it doesn't weld, and it just like sets down the other part that's still hot,
counterproductive.
the other branch. And it's just, you just fuck yourself, and you just like keep on trying to close it and weld it, close it, weld it, and it doesn't work ever.
Yeah,
like sometimes it'll work, but it's very rare. It's very like, no, I don't even make an overlap anymore. I just kind of like put a slope on it with my hammer on the one side, because you do want to have the mass out of it, right?
Yeah,
and you like so it doesn't get a shut really either. Like, you want to have that top edge of the stock gone. Put a little slope on there. Lay them on top of each other. And I think one thing that really helped me was something Lamar Weaver taught me is a little microwave heat. If you kind of get it there and you put it in there with that cherry heat, like before any slag is created, Yeah. You can tap it around and all the slag falls out from in the middle. Then once you flux it at that, and it's still hot enough, it sticks and the flux melts. It actually makes a seal. So now no oxygen gets in there to make slag again. It's like, boom, right there is fucking so many steps ahead.
Yeah.
But then you understand that, and you're like, then you go to fucking jump weld, like what you guys have to do right now, and you're like, well, how the fuck do you get it clean before you do it?
It's brutal. I hate jump welding.
Dude, I overthink it every single time. I'm like, well, okay, I got it clean, I fluxed it, but now I'm going to put it in the fire and the coke, and when I put it in the coke's going to wipe the flux off.
Yeah.
And it's going to fucking
And then if you keep it up, then your clip's again on the bottom, and then your clip's gone.
Toasted.
It's brutal. It's a learning process.
Dude, jump welding is one of the craziest things.
Yeah, it is. Especially two pieces that are like not the same dimension at all.
No,
like,
not at all.
Taking like two pieces of 5/8 square together would probably seem to be a lot easier than taking a.
Yeah, and if you got them together already, you're just like pulling them out, putting them together, bundle welding. Just like dropping bundles on top of them.
Yeah,
way easier.
Yeah,
those two pieces on a shoe that you've already done a bunch of work to.
Yeah,
and so like the toe already has little pockets and shit in it. Like even little ones, and then you got your fucking clip, and it's like, and then the times when it does stick really well, it's always crooked.
Right.
You're like, you come up there and it's just fucking sticky as shit.
Hell yeah, that's good.
You're like, God damn it, it's fucking almost covering that toenail.
I seen the tow bar was on the list, and like immediately like flashbacks in my head go back to like me and you in Harriman, Utah.
Fucking Utah, dude.
Golly, we dropped. That was miserable.
Like 4 or 5 times.
Miserable.
It took us maybe 4 or 5 times to finally get it stuck.
Because we had to do a front and a hind, right? In the 2-man class with tow bars.
With tow bars.
Yeah, it was brutal.
Yeah, just when you got the one done, and then you were like, oh, cool. Now I get to do it again.
Do another one.
I get to do it again. Yes, I never wanted anything more in life but to do this again.
Yeah.
Fuck me, man. Dude.
Yeah.
It's hard. And it's like everybody's got all these little tricks of how to try to make it easier. You know what I mean? They're like, oh, scour it with your fuller first. Or, oh, you want to bow it a little bit so it goes on there and gets flat when you hit it. It's like, dude, I don't even fucking know what the trick is. It's just
like it's
tough.
A frantic
just don't
moment.
think about it. Just don't even think about it. Just get shit hot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
You're like, hopefully the gods are on our side when we go to fucking weld that together.
That's exactly what I was saying this last week, and I was like, getting ready to do it. I was like, let's hope the fire welding gods are on our side today.
Dude, that's exactly right.
Our first one that we made, like, we had hell get them to stick, and then the next night we were like, all right, let's try it again, and thankfully, like, they went like we wanted them to.
But That's dude. When we practiced for that Utah one a long time ago, I remember, dude, we were sticking them in practice.
Yeah.
And then we went there, and it would not go. It was like they were different types of metal. You were like,
Suck.
okay, this is a joke. This is
Knock
a joke.
on wood. Let's hope that
Yeah.
doesn't happen in Edgewood.
I don't. I think you guys will have better luck this time than back then, dude. It'll be fucking better go around.
Good hot fires. So,
Yeah.
Money called me the other day and was talking about that class, and he was kind of taking me through like things that help, and just having the fire built up right for it is a big help. You know, having a nice round fire to where you can get it in there and, you know, not be scouring for heat, needing the heat. So,
yep,
I think those are helpful things to hear from him, for me anyway.
That's like I get to run a fire a ton, like each day. I get to run a coke fire, and that's something that I know when I'm getting to a point. Anytime I want cleaner work, and heat, and especially if I have differences in my metal thickness, like if I'm doing weird projects, you know, it's like, oh, it's super thick here and thin and thick. I get a bigger fire and higher with more air pumping to it when I'm out. So I'm almost doing it opposite what a lot of people like. You know what I mean? I'm running quite a bit of air when I'm out of the fire, when I'm working on the project, and then when I come back, I'm backing off of the air and putting my piece in there. So now the piece isn't getting a ton of oxygen and heat in those thin spots faster than the thick spots. It's more of a soak in heat.
Okay. Yeah.
And the fire has less oxygen in there, so it's less slag. So it's a cleaner fire. That's something like one of those videos that Craig talked about a lot. It's like everyone all of a sudden comes to their welding heat and they're begging for the heat during the weld instead of having the fire prepped 2 or 3 steps before then. So then when you go in for that fucking heat, you're kind of shutting the fire down a little bit and letting it soak.
Yeah. Get it ready to be welded.
Get it ready to be welded. And then if your pieces aren't in the fire perfectly, they'll still be at a pretty matched temperature because it's more of a soaking heat than a forced air heat.
Yeah.
I don't know if that fully makes, I don't know if that makes sense completely.
That makes a lot of sense.
But it is something that's like, money's right. It's like, if you have your bigger fire, it's nicer. It's like, dude, for some reason, Ben Yeager would always grab one of us young guys and strike for him at WCBs.
Yeah.
And it was fucking stressful as hell, dude.
Super stressful.
He'd yell at you the whole time. Like, higher in the fire. More air. Higher. There's too much slag on the work. Higher in the fire. But it was like, he would explain it to you later. He's like, you're fucking working in the shit in the fire when you're working right out of the pot. If you just put more coke in there and run a little higher, tidier fire.
Yep.
It's cleaner up there, and it's like, and you're getting more soaked heats, and so it's like things are just more even and more of an all-around heat on the pieces.
I forget about that time that I struck for him too, and like, yeah, it was so stressful.
Dude, he yells.
So stressful.
Not yelling, but he's kind of barking at you, like, hey, what are you doing? It's like, dude, I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah, that was a long time ago too. Like,
dude, I think it was like my second year.
Yeah, that was a long time ago. Fuck, man.
What are you doing? I don't even know, man.
I don't know what I'm doing with my hands.
Try not to burn your shit.
Try not to burn it up, and I want to be ready for you.
Yeah, that's what I'm really trying to do right now.
Fires are touchy, and they get hot.
Yeah, I'm burnt right now. I've got slag all over myself.
110 degrees out here. Man.
No, but that is like just welding in a coke fire, dude. Get that shit ready.
Yep.
Before it comes time. Get that fire hot and clean, so then you're almost shutting it down a little bit when you come in for that weld. And the fucker is less oxygen in there, still ripping hot, but
yeah, it's going to be a test.
Good.
That's for sure.
No, I think it would be cool. It would be cool to see how people go through the whole entire thing and take on that only knowing one shoe.
Let's hope that there's not more tow bars on the list for the rest of the year.
And you never know. It could be a new trend, dude. It could be a new trend.
Oh, gosh.
People are going to be all about it.
I was thinking, so last year it seemed like draft bar shoes were the trend. You know what I mean? Like, because think about it, like Carl had one, and then we put one on there, and there was another one that had George Rogerson had the Omni one.
Yep.
on there. And I was like, man, this year's like the trend to draft bar shoes. So hopefully this year's not the trend of toe bar drafts.
Dude, it'd be kind of funny if it was though.
Holy smokes.
Just a big old, next one's just a big old double dauber plain stamp with the freaking toe bar on there.
So if Tyson Clark's listen to this, no toe bars for Virginia.
Toe bars with a mass a lot, bro.
Oh,
do it.
Gracious.
Do it.
Holy smokes.
You should do it, Tyson. It'd be good. Everybody would love you.
Shoot. Yeah,
dude,
man.
That's like, you get the toe bar on there, and then it's still not even over with. You still have to draw the clip and hope that thing doesn't fall off.
Well, then the other big thing is quenching it. Make sure it doesn't pop off
at the end.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, time will tell.
No, and it's like, you can't really grab onto it very easy. And it's like, you always kind of get it on there, and then you need to shape the shoe a little bit again. And it's like, it's in the way.
You text me about making like 1 1/8 tongs or whatever.
Yeah.
And I was like, fuck, I barely just learned how to make 1/2 tongs. How am I going to learn how to make 1 inch tongs?
You're like, now he wants to make 1 1/8 tongs.
I was like, there's no fucking way I'm going to be able to do that right now. But thankfully, when I was at Troy had a pair. And as long as we're not in the same go,
you're going to be good.
I'm going to mooch his pair off of him.
Dude, 1 1/8 tongs are...
It was big difference.
Josh Stanley had some.
Oh, did he?
At that Utah contest that we went to. It's like, dude, he pulled out these 1 1/8, and I watched him like put them on there and break the bar off, holding on to it, and I was like, okay. Okay. Yeah. That's smart.
That's the way to do it.
Oh, dude, because you can hold on to it, and you can reshape that branch a little bit. You can finish off your weld.
Yeah, get the tag.
Yep.
To weld it into the branch.
And you're at least holding on to it. So at least you have some types of security. It's not just freaking blowing in the wind.
Yeah.
Chopping at it. Just waiting to fall off, dude. I don't trust forged welds whatsoever.
It's tricky.
And it's funny because it's like, I don't even worry about them with Damascus. Where it's like, dude, it's hundreds of forged welds, and you just don't even think twice about them.
Yeah.
Prying knives into joints. I don't even think twice about that thing just snapping down the middle, you know?
Are you doing it with the power hammer though and the press?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And those two metals just want to go together.
Yeah.
There's just something about their two differences that
there's a lot more prep time.
They want to stick.
A lot more prep time too that goes like you're cleaning it.
Cleaner.
Like, when we're forge welding, it's not ground clean.
Dude, it's dirty.
So
dirty, uneven.
Two totally
as far as Damascus people are concerned, that should not work.
Yeah. This episode is brought to you by the World Championship Blacksmiths. We just finished up with their season opener at Amarillo, Texas, where John McNerney was the judge. And it looks like they're off to another great start of another successful season for the WCB. The next up on their list is the Roadrunner Classic, which is at WCB headquarters in June at the end of the month. I think it's June 24th through the 28th, and that's with Sawyer Spradling judging. And we talked about it a little bit in this episode about the difficulties about that shoe list. So if you guys are looking to enter, the deadline is May 24th. So that's basically next week if you listen to this right now. If you guys want to show your support, go over to their website, worldchampionshipblacksmiths.com, and they have a whole line of merchandise and some tools that you guys can purchase. And then if you choose to buy something, use code BRAINS for 10% off. It's not including contests, fees, or membership fees, but you can help show your support for the podcast and for the WCB by going over there, support them, buy some merchandise.
That should not work at all.
There's no way it should stick on there.
No, because, dude, they grind all their pieces, even when they get them from the factory. You know what I mean? They grind them again, clean them all up, stack them together, soak them in kerosene. Or just, put some kerosene. Yeah, you put kerosene in there real quick. And so then when you go to the forge, it burns, and so it burns all the oxygen out of it. So now there's no oxygen between any of the pieces.
And you're not touching the scales with your hand. You're using gloves, right? Some people use
some people
gloves.
are, yeah. so there's no oils. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, once you do the kerosene, it burnt all the oils off and everything, so it's like they're clean.
I'm not
No,
doing that with draft shoes.
no, dude, could you imagine going over there and scraping it, get hot
Yeah.
rasp it first, get it all perfectly flat, throw some kerosene on there.
Hammer finish.
Dude, that's the hard part. That's the hard part.
It's a big debate. I keep running through my head like, well, what's the other shoe going to be?
What's your guess right now? Do you think it's something else heavy?
Part of me was thinking like it could be a Roadster, just because why not put a Roadster in there? Like that's still heavy forging, but it's still manageable. Like either individual or two man. You know what I mean? Like you could make a bigger one. Or I was also wondering like, what if he threw in the front, so it was a tow bar front for the two man? You know what I mean? Like there's that possibility because it has been done before and it is doable. So it could be crazy like that. I don't know. Or it could just be like a double dauber draft. The list goes on and on.
That's my first thought would be double dauber draft, plain sand.
Yeah. Something like that.
That would be my first guess. But dude, when you just said tow bar front, it's like it could be
it could be hell.
Fuck, dude.
Then I've been trying to like
it could be hell, but it could be just, dude. At least it's repetitive hell, and you're just freaking.
You know what you have to make.
Stick at it. You're like, dude, I just do this over twice in a row, twice in a row. Like
same
over
system,
and over.
You know, that would be the beauty of it.
Yeah, and at least it's something you've already been practicing shaping those shoes on the horn.
Yeah.
You know, because it's always kind of that in the class where you're like, man, I'm really keen on this trick right now.
Yeah.
You know, like when you're making a lot of roadsters, you're like, I can do this move of a lateral branch in my sleep almost. Like,
yeah.
It's usually when you're unpracticed, so that's really hard. But if it was just a front, you're like, you're already used to shaping on them.
I've also been thinking, like, I don't know Sawyer that well. So it's like, I'm trying to think, like, was he a front foot guy on the team? Was he a hind foot guy on the team? Like, I don't know him well enough to think, like, oh, maybe he likes this kind of stuff. But then again, like, you think about it, when we came out with the shoe list for Fort Worth, they were just random shoes that we just decided to pick.
Yeah, no, they really were.
You know,
they really were.
So it could be something totally random as well.
Yeah. And it's a two man, so I think the two man's a little more up in the air. I think what was I was just looking at the list.
It's got that lateral extension front.
For the front, I could see it being another like I could see a slider.
Sliding plate?
Yep, just because, you know, his dad shoots some reining horses and stuff. He's from Texas as well. I could see a slider.
Yeah.
I mean, hopefully he's not listening to this and be like, oh, well, I'm going to trick him. I'm not going to do a slider now. But I could see a slider in the individual class.
Yeah, it could be something brutal too, you know?
It could be, because it's that lateral extension front's not, I don't want to say it's easy.
It's not very easy.
No, but it's like, because it's a lot of drawing out, you know, boxing. But it's not a lot of heavy forging.
Yeah, it's not heavy forging. Like, it's a
not
consistent pace. Yeah, it's not like a roadster.
Yep. But a slider is one of those shoes that you think is going to be easy, and the thing takes a long time.
Yeah,
because it's like it just gets cold so fast.
Yeah, the hard thing, because it's going to be your first one you make, and so it's going to be like, how much do you draw out each branch? You know, am I over forging it? Do I forge it enough? Those kind of things go in your mind. Like, it's tough.
That's true. So do you think it's going to be more? It'll be interesting to see if he does something that's more should be every day.
And then I was
you know what I mean?
Thinking like looking at like the spruce list or whatever and being like, is there maybe a
deep-seated bar shoe?
Yeah, deep-seated bar shoe, or you know, something off that list that's on there. You know what I mean? So I was also thinking about when you asked about what kind, if I was going to run goes, like just throw in a spruce shoe, you know, make that shoe with the spruce shoe or something like that.
Yep.
So I was thinking something along that. So then you have guidelines to try to make it too.
Yeah, you're at least trying to achieve a goal. You know what I mean? Like a standard. You're not just like making a shoe to make a shoe.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, even if you choose a shoe like a Roadster, just like be strict with yourself of like it needs to be 5 wide or 5 1/4 wide. And,
Yeah.
you know.
Have some parameters set.
Yep. I mean, at least the novice guys know their shoes. They're gonna be
That they do.
they know their shoes. That'll be good. I mean, and you don't know the specimen either.
Nope. Don't know the specimen for that one.
Man.
And then also, so for the FAS, the Washington State Association, they got the Triple Crown contest, and this next one is coming up at the end of this month, and Ben Yeager's actually judging that, and the whole list is a TBA list. So I kind of asked him, like, what do you think would be kind of good shoes for people to practice? Like, I wasn't trying to pry and get the actual list from him.
Yeah.
And he said, for the open guys, it's going to be pretty easy. It's like, if you can weld, bump caulks, build a wedge, fuller and plain stamp, you should be able to do pretty good. It'll be like a mix of concave, fullered, and plain stamps. Just basics, especially nail fit. That was one thing that he emphasized was nail fit.
Dude. So that contest will be at Deer Park in Washington. It's May 30th to June 1st. Deadline for the contest to sign up is May 16th. If you guys are interested in going to that thing.
End of this week.
Up. Yep. So you get a hold of Brian Strelo, or you can register online at farriersofwashington.com for that one. And that is one, like, we both have worked around Ben a decent amount, but one of the last Oregon contest me and you both went to, Ben was the judge.
Oh, that's
and Ben is one of those dudes of like, he sets his standards, and it's one of those. It's like you just have to hit him.
He sticks with them, like he's consistent.
He sticks with them so solid, dude. It's like that one. He was like, when we were he's like, I want a 5/8 toe on these Roadsters.
Yeah,
and dude, I don't care how wide my toe is. It's gonna be 5/8 tall. It's like if I do anything today, I'm giving this dude a 5/8 toe because I know that's like the one thing he's gonna freaking hold by crazy.
Yeah, because your shoe, if you want to win first, make sure it's at least 5/8.
Yep.
And that's what even like got yours ahead of mine because I burnt up my first one.
Yep.
My second one was a 1/2 inch thick.
Yep. Weaken the toe just because you don't have time.
Yep. And I remember years ago, I think it was a Washington one, or when it was at the Walla Walla College, Ben judged. And that was a shoe on the list. Or no, it was the one where he did for you in Sisters, Oregon. I have that shoe.
Yep.
Has a 5/8 toe in it. Yep. So he's consistent with liking that one on lists.
I mean, he really likes that. He likes nice concave heels.
Yep. Without
welding them. Like a good concave wedge to bend, like in caulking, that's actually solid. Like he digs that, and he can do it very well. He's one of those dudes that he can make concave off the hammer. Where I'm just like, dude, how did you fold it up like that?
He's taught by old Bob Marshall.
That dude, like me and Gavin were talking about it a little bit earlier. Is like Ben and Troy can clip concave with a bob punch. We're neither me and Gavin fuck it all up. They look like shit, dude.
Bob punching concave.
They're gonna be tiny little mouse ears, or just a ripping big old source hole out there.
And it's not gonna look Bob punched. It's gonna look like it was.
We're like, dude, Troy or Ben will do it. It looks like just like a 4th nail hole.
Yeah, like it's supposed to be.
Just tiny. There's barely a divot out of the outside rim, and it's just this big old cappy clip. You're like, oh, dude.
How did you do that?
Did you weld those on? You just like, what'd you do? What'd you do to do that?
It's a real kick in the nut.
Dude. So it is, at least like Ben is strict with his standards on it, but it's like he can do it.
Yeah.
So it's really cool.
And then another contest that I think we should talk about is the Rocky Mountain Farriers Association for Colorado. That's
the warm-up.
Yeah, so that's July 17th through the 19th, and Chris Madrid's judging that. So
that'd be cool.
The open guys, it's basically the Spruce Meadows shoe list. So the open guys basically just spruce warm-up. And then there's actually a shoe list out where Chris has made all the shoes for the intermediate and the beginner class as well. So you can go to RMFA Colorado Classics Facebook page, and all the details are there for that. I know John kind of wanted us to talk about that a little bit and try to get the word out there for people that are interested in going. And it sounds like it's a pretty big deal.
Oh, I think that would be a huge deal. And it's just like such a good. Chris is one of the best judges.
Yeah, he just judged us in Washington.
Yeah, like, dude, like those videos you've been putting out of Money explaining things, gold.
Yeah, he did.
They're gold, man. And he has such sensible lists when he comes out with them. And
Practical.
I've heard that those Colorado contests are some of the most fun, too.
That's what, Craig had even told us at the convention. He's like, if you're looking for a good time, this is a good one to come to.
Yeah, so if everybody's looking to go to a good one, that'd be a good one. And John's just fun to be around as well. So
yeah, it's a good dude.
Yeah, that'd be an awesome one.
Yeah.
Dude, you been working a whole bunch?
Yep, slaving away.
Springtime, dude. Just...
Yeah, and then next week, actually on Saturday, I go pick up old Ed. He's here on the Cultural Exchange, so he'll be with me next week.
Because is next week Memorial Weekend? Is that when? Because isn't that when he was with you?
Yep. So he'll be with me next week, and I actually, my youngest brother just bought a house, so, and then my other brother's flying out from North Dakota, and so this just happened like a week or two ago that this came up, and so I'm actually going to drop Ed off early, and I'm going to go down and see my family for the weekend.
Oh, that'd be very nice.
Yeah, got to rip out the floor and carpet, paint, stuff like that. So we'll
see. You're going for like a HGTV weekend, like a total just like home repair weekend.
Yeah, since I went to Troy's over Mother's Day, I think probably good to go see my mom.
Yeah,
mom down there,
dude. I'm pretty good about dates, but like I totally forgot about it until we just like got home, and I was like, it just hit me. I was like, dude, it's like I remembered before I left and everything, and then it like hit me again right before, but. It's pretty nice.
It's crazy, like how dates, you just get mixed up in them. Like you think like, okay, I know that this is when this is, and then like it'll be May 9th, and you're like, holy cow, where'd the time go?
That's what happened to me. I'm like, oh, that's a ways away.
Yeah,
and then all of a sudden I'm like, that's next week. Yeah, it's like we're leaving right now. Like
same with Memorial Weekend coming up,
Yeah, because it seemed crazy. Like we went to Troy's a little while ago, and it seemed like you're like, yeah, Ed's coming out from Memorial. I'm like, oh, that's so far away.
Yeah.
And then now you're like, yeah, that's coming up next. I'm like, oh, holy shit, dude.
Yeah, so I stacked on some horses for next week, so
you got them all. Yeah, you got plenty of work for him to do.
He's probably not. I've been seeing him posting, like, everybody's been taking him out doing fun stuff, like, in the mountains. I'm like, well, I don't do a whole lot of that stuff. Probably going to be making shoes and shoe horses.
Let me introduce you to my hobbies here.
Yeah, I don't have much hobbies at the moment.
Lucky for him, Supercross is over. You're not going to make him sit down on Saturday and watch the races.
Well, that's a bummer, actually, that Supercross is over, but...
How long till the outdoor season starts? It's not long.
Yeah. This weekend off, and then outdoors is starting up.
Yeah, so it's not long at all.
No.
Oh, so there isn't a race this Saturday?
Nope.
Okay. Nope.
They get 1 week off for a break, and then back to the grind.
It's funny. It's like, forget almost sometimes that we're talking with the audience, that it's Gavin and I, we obviously follow WCB like it's our main sport. Like that's it. But then we both watch Supercross.
Yeah.
Like so it's something we talk about. Like usually it's sometimes on Saturdays, but usually Gavin will text me on Saturdays. I'm like, dude, quit fucking telling me what's happening. I don't get to watch it till Sunday morning.
I get bummed out. Like if I can't watch it when it's live, like I don't check Instagram because like I follow.
Dude, that's what I
live.
do. I just don't. I don't check any of my Instagram
because it'll tell you who won and everything.
Yep.
I'm like,
I don't want to know. I act like it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
To me, it goes live Sunday morning.
Yeah.
That's when I watch it.
I
And it's
don't like that.
annoying. It's annoying that the replay doesn't go live till like midnight or something,
Yeah, it's a few
till
hour delay.
Sunday.
Hmm.
Yeah, I wish it was just live right after so I could watch it Saturday night,
Yeah.
but it doesn't. But it is a really fun thing to watch because it is guys doing something kind of abnormal. It's not your normal sport.
Yeah, and there's not the drama that comes along with like football and basketball with,
Nope.
like, and there's still guys that are charging hard, working hard.
It reminds me a lot of WCB type guys
Yeah.
because it's physical, but it's a mental game as well.
Yeah, and they'll say
Like,
like it's 90% mental and then 10% physical and
yep,
muscle repetitiveness too, like just by
yep.
going on the track and putting in the laps,
Yeah, dude, it's very interesting to listen to. Like, I was listening to a podcast with one of their coaches, with Sexton's coach, and he was talking about how he mostly teaches for response time.
Yeah.
Like he's like it's not about muscle or anything like that. Like it's just response time. Things are happening so quickly and going through things that it's like you just need to be able to pay attention and
I think
respond to
that
things.
even with that F1 show, the Drive to Survive on Netflix, like
Yep.
seeing the things that they do with like the tennis balls and stuff like that, like I imagine that would probably translate into stuff that we do.
Yeah. No, I think it's completely that it's like that is I say it every once in a while and it's like it makes sense in my head. And I don't know if it ever makes sense to anybody else when I say it's like you have to stay conscious through this.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm trying to say is like it's like the first time when I remember when I was a kid and we first started team roping that it was just like, and I'm sure the same way. I'm sure it's more so when you're riding rough stock that it was like everything kind of blacks out. It's just a blur.
Oh yeah.
And
Oh
you
yeah.
get done and you're like, what the fuck
What
happened?
happened?
And that kind of happens to you when you first start competing in horseshoeing. You're like, get done. You're like, I don't. People ask you like, how'd it go? And you're like, fuck if I know.
The
I just
time's
woke
gone
up.
already. Yeah.
I just got here. Like,
Yeah.
and so it is something that's like you need to learn how to stay conscious, and that's what like do those guys like coming in for a hole shot, and you got all these dudes piling into a corner. You just need to stay so conscious and mind on the goal while still swerving around. You know what I mean? That it's like that can, if we could pick up on a little bit of that type of stuff into
Yep.
horseshoeing and competing, like dude, that helps your everyday horseshoeing. If you're
Yeah.
just not blacked out when you're under the horse and you're really paying attention to everything in the horse, in the like. Dude, everything's going to go so much smoother.
It's crazy how you can kind of pick up from other sports, like listening to them, like the things that they do every day. You can just pick up a little thing here or there, and then try to implement it into yourself. Like,
Dude,
especially
completely.
them making millions of dollars doing what they do.
Yeah, they make a little bit more than us.
They make quite a bit more than us.
A little bit more than us. A little bit more. And it's like they got more sponsors going
Yeah.
than Supercross and the WCB type world has going. Just horseshoeing competitions.
Yeah.
It is. I think like the horse world is pretty cheap on sponsors until you get to like the jumping world.
Yeah.
In general, like once you get to like Rolex stuff like that, obviously NFR and stuff
Going up to
money,
Scoop,
But
we've also got the great sponsor, Yukon Forge. John's an avid supporter of this trade and is willing to do anything he possibly can to be out there and help everybody else. He's always donating his time and his tools for prizes, for contests, and clinics. So if you can support him, that's helpful. John's also got a whole line of different tools that you guys can go get. He's got tongs, hoof knives, fullers, hammers, the wrenchless propane nut. He's got everything, and he's always trying to come up with different ideas on how to, make his tools better and work for you guys. Whatever works for you guys, he wants to, work on that as well, implement them into his tool designs. So you can go to his website, yukonforge.com, use the code BRAINS, and it'll get you 10% off anything on his website. He also just had something he's working on coming out with the Flying V, guys, and it's a bird hunting knife. So handmade knives that John and Flying V guys are coming out with, which is also a pretty cool project. He's also been working with Todd Walker and revitalizing Todd's tool line. So recently, John had come out and talked to us about purchasing the Flatland Forge driving hammer business. So John with Yukon Forge actually now is producing all the driving hammers that Jim Poor had created with the Flatland Forge line, and he's producing those. And he also, on top of that, he's got the new design that's revitalized by Edward Martin, the driving hammer. It has the little thistle on the side. And that's actually one that I'm using my day-to-day practice now because it swings so great. I had used the regular Flatland Forge driving hammer basically my whole career until John sent me the one with the thistle, and it swings great. So go over, check them out, and we appreciate you sponsoring the podcast, John.
Yep. Oh, that's where you're like, okay.
This is big time.
These people got a lot of money in these horses. Like rodeo is one thing, you know, but it's like a lot of money out in rodeo, but
yeah, not to that level.
Different.
Yeah.
No. I bet those mechanics at Supercross are making more.
They say like $100,000.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's not a ton. So
for some reason I thought it'd be more. Even like their main mechanic.
Yeah. So they'll.
Oh, that's rough, dude.
Yeah. So the main podcast I listen to, it's called Pulp MX, and every Monday night it's a 5.5 hour long episode.
I've tried, and
my Tuesday
too long.
I drive all day. I drive, you know.
Yep.
So it's easy to get through on Tuesday, and he was a mechanic for Nick Way and Tim Ferry back in the 90s and kind of in the Jeremy McGrath days.
Yep.
So like he knows a lot about what mechanics make then and now. And so they talk about it and it's like could be 70 to 100 grand nowadays. And a lot of times those guys will make their money on bonuses. So like Deegan wins, he'll give the mechanic a bonus.
Yep.
So if they're winning, they're going to make more as well.
Get a big, huge sponsor.
Yeah. That kind of
kick.
It's kind of surprising. Like it's a big thing that they talk about where like F1 drivers, you know, their salary that they make. Football players, you know, their salary that they make. Yep. And a big discussion. Nobody knows what Supercross riders are making as a salary. Like it's an unknown thing. Nobody wants to talk about it. And it's kind of becoming a push. Adam Cianciarulo, he just retired last year and he's trying to make that push. Like, yeah, I made $1.2 million my last year at Kawasaki. So he's trying to get that information out there and he's like, why not?
Out there.
Yeah. And like they're saying, so Webb, he just won the title and he got $1.2 million for winning the title. That's
from the commission.
From the commission. That's not from Fly, Yamaha.
From Yamaha. And
so
Monster.
He's probably $2 million in, but none of that's known, you know?
It's crazy. Webb's one of those dudes that looks 35 or 37. He looks almost 40, dude.
They always talk about him like having the dad bod, you know.
Dude, and he's just 29.
Yeah, he's a beast, dude.
Young dude.
He is now the oldest guy to have won a title.
No joke.
So Tomac was the oldest guy, but Webb is 1 week older than Tomac.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dude, I don't think Malcolm's going to do it anytime soon.
Nah. He got one win this year.
Yeah. No, it was good for him.
That was actually when we were at the Winter Clinic. We were watching it. Dude,
yeah,
it
was good.
Crazy night.
Hurried up and we were like, oh, dude, we're just going to go watch the races.
Big Jim's Pizza.
Dude, it was.
That was good pizza.
It was good pizza. That's so funny.
Actually, earlier today, I was shooting this horse and the gal was holding it. And it was lunchtime. And I was like, you know what sounds really good right now? She's like, what? I was like, pizza. And she's like, oh, don't do that to me. I'm hungry right now. I was thinking of Big Jim's Pizza, actually.
I love pizza.
Yeah, pizza sounds good.
Sometimes it's like, dude, coming out of the woods, that's the first thing I'm craving is pizza or a cheeseburger.
That's usually what I think about. Like when we were coming home from Troy's, like you dropped me off. First thing I did is I ordered a pizza.
Did you really?
I went. I just ordered a pizza. And, yeah,
dude, that was a drive. It's the first time I've had a drive that much in quite a while, and it's like from my house to Troy's.
5 hours to my house.
It's 8 hours for me total, and it was just like
it's a trek.
Dude, that was a trek. And of course, we just tried to do it slim, so we just threw 2 tons of Coke in the bed of my pickup. Drove it home.
Well, when we run out, we'll have to talk you into driving back up there and picking up 2 more tons.
That's exactly it. Like, I was like, man, this isn't the last time I'm gonna do it either. It's
I
gonna
was
be freaking.
I was nervous before heading over there this last week. So last week I had to do a little truck work. The parking brake on the Dodge, it started making a clicking noise. Like it's been making a clicking noise for a few months, and I thought it was a wheel bearing or a U-joint going out in the front.
Yeah.
Like it's just it was a rotational, like clicking noise.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Consistent.
oh, wheel bearing. So I ordered wheel bearings and U-joints for it. And then on Tuesday, it started clicking really loud. And I was like, something's about to go if it's going to go.
Yeah.
And so I went on there, parked, and started looking. I was like, the wheel bearings seem fine. U-joints seem fine. And I looked back and I noticed the housing for the parking brake was cracked. And it was
nice.
about to like snap.
Explode.
It's about to explode. So I overnighted one at O'Reilly's, fixed that. And then, so I go to jump in my truck to go get the parts. And it was starting as if it was like 40 degrees below zero, just crank, 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 crank. And I was having to give it throttle, and it would barely come up to 800 RPMs, and like, I was like
choking.
I was like, what the hell? Like, it was like it was starved on fuel, and so it started up eventually, and then I drove it to the store, didn't shut it off, drove it back, fixed it, started it up again. So it sat for a couple hours, and it just barely and then picked up to where it's supposed to go. And I was like, well, I'm supposed to leave tomorrow to go to Troy. So if it starts in the morning, I'm going. If it doesn't,
fuck, dude,
I was
that's so good.
Stressed out the whole way. I didn't even shut my truck off the whole way there. Stopped to pee.
Did it start and run fine?
It's been fine. Totally fine.
I love how you just have been driving it since then, like nothing happened.
What am I? Because I don't know what it is. Like I changed the fuel filter not long ago. Like.
Yeah, I mean, you could have got some bad fuel somewhere and just had a little water in there, but
maybe
you probably would have set it.
I have a water in the fuel light.
I mean, dude, hopefully it wasn't like your grid heater or something fucking giving out.
I was thinking it could be that, and then I got online.
I was thinking it could be.
I got online and I was like, apparently, so for our trucks, it's a known thing. Like the lift pumps are weak.
Yeah,
so the ones in the tank,
shit, dude. You gotta get a fucking.
Thinking, well, it could be the lift pump.
Yeah,
and the injection pump's new on it, so I was like, I don't know.
Could be the lift pump. I don't know. You have a stock lift pump on it.
Yeah, as far as I know, it's still the stock one with 300K on it.
He's got to bite the bullet to get a fast system.
I know. And then I started looking at parts for those, and I was like, fuck, those are spendy.
Yeah, but mine runs nice, doesn't it?
It runs totally fine. Like, now it does. I mean, I don't... Until it does it to me again, we'll find out.
Yeah, exactly. You'll put something on there eventually, dude.
Yeah, there'll be one day that I'm not going to work. I'm going to be figuring it out.
Fuck.
Let's talk about the greatest horseshoe and supply house in the world, Wellshod. They're located in Amarillo, Texas, and it says a lot about who they are and what they support by allowing us all to come there and basically just tear up the whole Wellshod building. So they pretty much have every tool that you can imagine or every supply that you can imagine that you need to use in your business. Just go onto their website, www.wellshod.com, and they got everything you can need, any tool, supply, and also the $10 flat rate shipping. So you can't get much better than that. If you use code BRAINS at checkout, they'll send you a little surprise gift in there as well. So support those who support you. I think that says a lot about the companies that have supported Forging Brains and been a part with us. Is they're invested in you guys as well, so help them survive by supporting them and purchasing the things they have to offer. So thank you guys.
So next you got coming up, just you got Edgewood to practice for.
Yeah, so I'm not going to be going to the Foz one because my friend Billy's getting married that weekend and I'm in the wedding.
Okay,
so going to the wedding.
That's a reason.
And then Edgewood. Yeah, and then you and I, we're going to be going up to Spruce Meadows to hang out, do some filming.
Yeah, we're pretty excited about that. And so me and Gavin are going to go to Spruce, and we're going to put our media hats on.
Yep.
And we're going to try to just bring updates of Spruce each day not necessarily live,
Mm-hmm.
but daily, and hopefully multiple times a day. We're kind of talking about a little bit of a layout today of like we're going to try in the morning to give a little update of like what classes are happening for the day, how stats are going, who's in the lead, who's doing good, who maybe had something happen the day before, how the classes work.
Yep.
We're going to talk about how the classes work, what the shoes are, things like that. And then at the end of the day, a recap. It's just like on a lot of sports events and stuff like that. They have a highlights reel
Yep.
of the end of the day, and we'll talk about it. So that's what we're going to try to do that. And then we may even try to like slip in a podcast or something with us of like a little longer form content if you wanted to listen to that. But we're going to try to bring just total coverage of Spruce Media or Spruce Meadows, what's happening there, what's going on, how it kind of works.
Yep. That's kind of our game plan, is to go up
Yeah.
there and kind of just show everybody. I mean, get more eyes onto it too, right? Like that's kind
Exactly.
of the most prestigious event we have
Yep.
for our community. And, it's bringing 16 different countries competing over there again.
And this is one of the times where it's like, dude, you look at that list. It is a spanky list. You're like,
it's going to be a
this is
tough
gonna be
one.
crazy because
Yeah.
it's everything's 50th themed this year. So it's the
Yep.
50th anniversary for Spruce Meadows, and so it's 50 competitors that they let in this year. Nobody is on that list who hasn't been on their nation's team.
Yeah. Yep. That's kind of the big deciding factor.
Pretty freaking cool.
So
Pretty freaking cool. And so, like, that's one of the cool things of, like, the American, or something like that. It's like that you're going to see all these really good people. So it's like if you're wanting to go watch a really cool event and see a really prestigious horse event,
yep,
this is one to go to and watch.
Yeah, there's like if you want to take your wife or whatever with you, like there's things also there you can go do and check out.
It's a fair.
It's a really nice fair.
It's a fair, but there's vendors. There's plenty of food vendors, shops,
yep,
horse things to watch. So yeah, if you're a family that's into horses.
It's not like elephant ears that you get at the county fair. Like it's
no good food, food, big place.
Caramel apples.
Dude, you can eat all the caramel apples you want
this year. I can.
Yep. This year, dude, you're gonna be killing yourself in caramel apples.
Now that I know about them.
Oh god,
one a day.
Just thought of that.
They say apple a day keeps the doctor away.
I don't know if they're talking about those ones with a pound
dipped
of
in
caramel. Yeah, I don't know
Makes
if they're
it even
talking
better.
about those ones, bro. Those weren't the ones.
Those are the ones.
Fuck. No, that'll be good. Yeah, we're gonna go to Spruce, and yeah, that's pretty much our game plan right now as we sit.
Yep, we got some episodes coming out here soon. We just got to get them lined out. We're just kind of busy ourselves, so we got 2 guys that you guys all know coming up soon.
Yeah, I've been out of town. I'm kind of just getting caught up on my shit again.
And, yeah, you went out on the old bear hunting trip again, huh?
Dude, yeah. It
looked like you got a pretty big one.
Yeah, he was a good bear.
Good bear?
Good bear. He was a good bear. Like, it was
big and old looking. I don't know.
He had scars, like healed, like when we were skinning him, he had a bunch of healed up scars in his neck.
Really?
And then he had 3 big old slashes across his nose. Like, he definitely got a little squabble.
Yeah.
At some time through his life. But that place where we go hunt it's just canyony and cliffs and nasty. Like, that river is just known for being pretty treacherous and nasty.
Snake River, right?
No, it's a different one off there. I always try to be a little, like, not telly where I'm at. But it's like, people that know where it's at, but it's like, dude, it's just every step of the trip is always so crazy.
Yeah.
Because the boat ramp we put in on, that first rapid's the biggest one of the whole run.
Oh, okay.
And it's huge, dude.
There's a big dog boat you guys had, jet boat.
So yeah, my buddy Derek has this nice jet boat, and those Idaho boats are like their own type of deal. They're a whitewater boat, all sealed up, really buoyant, real short bows, stick steer, and they have big old motors in them.
Lots of horsepower.
Yeah, that thing he just put a new LS in it, the supercharged. It had like, I I think he said like 670 horsepower.
Single engine or twin?
Single engine in that
Single
one.
engine.
And it has a big pump. This like big old Scott 912 pump. They're huge. Like they're monster holes coming out of those things.
Gonna displace the water.
Dude, we had the boat, 4 guys in our gear, like 2 coolers pretty full.
Yep.
And coming out of that rapid, and the first rapid we were on, dude, I look over and he is full throttle. And we are barely moving.
Holy smoke.
Up that rapid. It's like, it's just kind of amazing how strong nature is sometimes. You're like,
especially water. Like
water is
water's
insane. And at that point, you're like, what the fuck do you do if we can't go forward anymore? You don't just turn around and say, never mind. Yeah, you're like, well, never mind, turn around. Like, you're in a fucking huge rapid with huge rocks on either side. You're like, you're kind of fucking hosed. We made it up that one. Dude, we were good. Ran all the way up, and it was just a hot time there. So it's like, bears are just a lazy animal anyways during the spring. So it's like, evening time's the best time you're going to see them. But when it's hot, you're only going to get like the last 2 hours of light, really, to see them.
Yeah.
And so the trip wasn't like, we saw like half the number of bears that we did the time before. And half is like,
how hot was it? Temp-wise?
Dude, the one day was like 75. Like, I was getting like sunburn.
Really?
Because it was just like nowhere to hide from the shade and everything.
It's a good day to be in nature, but not for...
That's what we were like, dude, it's a cool day to chill on the river and go for a boat ride.
Yeah.
You know, but other than that, it was pretty rough. And where I shot my bear was, dude, it was just a shit show. Every time it's the second time I've gone there. It's the second time it's just been a fucking rodeo of
to
bear
get it out of there.
And just the doing of it. Like, whereas, like, dude, like, I go there and I know, like, okay, I'm not going to get excited. I'm going to wait until I see a bear that I'm really excited about. I had an idea of already what I wanted before we went. I wanted a black bear. So I shot mostly colored phased black bears. They're brown. Mm-hmm. And I wanted a black one with a white chest patch and good size. I saw that one coming out. And I put a pretty good shot at him at like, I think it was like 610, 620 yards. Hit him good. And dude, he went up a tree.
Holy cow.
He climbs this tree like next to him. And so it's like, well, I'm just going to, so I shot him again. He falls out of this tree, dude, and he rolled probably 1,000 yards downhill off of like 4 cliffs.
Holy shit.
He's like fucking flailing off. I'm like, I look at my friend. I'm like, dude, he's a fucking hamburger. He's ruined. He's ruined, dude. Like, my buddy's like, it's gonna be all right.
All the hair's off of him.
Dude, in my mind, I'm like, he has no limbs left, no hair left. All of his meat's gonna be bloodshot. Like. He's broken. And it's like, dude, the creek at the bottom. Yeah, dude, the creek at the bottom is like spring runoff and high as shit. I'm like, he's going all the way to the creek and he's going to get stuck in a log jam and we're never even going to fucking find him, dude.
Oh my God.
And it's like, it's already 4:00 at that point.
Yeah.
And so it's like, we need to drop about 1,500 feet down little and like through cliffs, like find little routes.
Yeah.
We need to cross said creek
to get to him.
And we need to go up another about 1,000 feet over some cliffs and then back down to where he went down.
Well, if the second bullet didn't kill him, the 4 cliffs killed him.
Dude, he was dead as shit. Thankfully, a tree caught him, dude. And somehow he was fine.
Really?
Like, you couldn't even tell that he fell. Like, in that picture, you can't tell that thing went off all those cliffs.
No.
He had one broken leg. Like,
oh, really?
Yeah, I think that might have done it. Like, you know, going off them cliffs might have broke that leg.
Wow.
But, dude, he wasn't all bloodshot. The meat looked great. He was not all fucked up. Not a lot of fur.
Did you get to weigh it, like, when you got it home?
No.
Like, how much meat you got to bring home?
I don't know how much meat. I mean, I think we got, like, 8-gallon baggies full of chopped meat right now. Like, stuff full.
That's quite a bit.
I don't know how much. Yeah, decent amount. People always think bears weigh way more than they're going to weigh.
Yeah.
It's like that bear probably weighed like 280, 290. And he had 0 fat on him and was really skinny because he just came out of hibernation.
Out of winter, yeah.
And so it's like he might pack on another 80 pounds or so to like if when he was in the fall and fat and nice. Mm-hmm. But he still is he's a big bear. Like when their ears get all the way off the side of their head like that, they got a big old long muzzle. Like
How old do you think he was? You think? Guesstimation.
I don't know. I don't like. I would say he's a teenager.
Yeah. Wow. That's
Where there's like the oldest bear is 37 or 39.
Really?
And a guy shot one in Oregon last year that was 34, and it was a female, and she was not very big. She's probably like 180 pounds, 150 pounds.
That's like you and me. Size.
She was just very.
Is there like
she's just genetically not big.
Is there like a telltale sign? Like, so deer, you can tell by like their antlers, like, they're probably 5 years old. Is there like a
bears are so hard to judge.
Yeah.
So hard that like you're looking for a good belly to them.
Mm-hmm.
You're looking for ears on the side of the head.
Yep.
You're looking for like if you kind of know how big the trees are in your area you're hunting. You're like, okay, most of these trees are 12-inch to 18-inch trees, and that bear is standing next to what looks like an 18-inch tree, or like a 12-inch tree, and his head looks as long as this. It's like that's probably a decent one.
Yeah.
Where it's like that's how we judge. Like you'll see cubs like that. You're like, oh, how big's that one? And then all of a sudden you lose them behind a sunflower bush, and you're like, fuck, not very big.
He's a little guy. Yeah.
Yeah, not very big. No, that bear was a fucker, dude. And we got out of there. We got him cut up in about 40 minutes.
Yeah.
Me and my friend, we got him cut up in backpacks really fast. And dude, on the hike out, I fell so hard. I thought I dislocated my hip.
Really?
Oh, dude, it was
a doozy.
Yeah, it was the first, like most pack. I've had hard pack outs before. They're pretty like physically trying.
Yeah.
And they're one of those things, it's kind of like in a shoeing competition where you're like towards the end and you're like, just hold the fuck on. Just hold on, dude. Just keep swinging your hammer. You're not going to die.
No, you're not going to die.
Just keep going. Where it's like, that's you kind of got to tell yourself during pack outs. Like, don't sit down.
Yeah.
You're fine. Keep walking.
Joke about it a little bit. Yeah.
Yep. Sing, laugh. Try
because last year you said like a guy slipped and like cut himself really bad.
Yeah.
This year you fall and you almost dislocate your hip.
Dude, I thought I was fucked.
How far away from camp were you?
About a mile.
Oof.
And it was just like we were just walking on a really steep ledge, and I just missed the goat trail with my fucking step.
Really?
Fell. Thankfully I fell uphill somewhat instead of down the hill.
Yeah.
But it was like, dude, and we got to the bottom, and like this runoff was so big that all the logs that we thought we could cross on were fucking gone. And so we had to cross that fucking creek that's like,
it's like 50 yards. In your video, it's like included some of that.
Dick deep fucking ice cold water. Like 10 o'clock at night, dude. It's just like
miserable.
Yeah, but at the same, it's type 2 fun. Where you're like, dude, that was kind of cool.
I say miserable being in the sense of, for me, I hate cold water.
And it's always everybody does.
The dick deep cold water, like, because that's always the hardest part is getting up to your waist. So like when you're at the waist, that's miserable to me. I hate.
Oh, dude, I was just like, this is gonna suck, dick.
Yeah, I hate that.
But the worst part was camp was only like 100 yards past that creek.
Oh, decent.
And so it's just like, oh, dude,
I was thinking close. You had a mile more to keep going.
Fuck, if that was the case,
that would be tough.
If that was the case, we probably would have slept on the other side of that creek for the night. It was like, dude, we were both. That was the first time we made it to the tent. I just laid on my side with all that meat and shit in my backpack. I was just like, I just need a minute.
Yeah.
To fucking breathe that we didn't die.
It's a good way for a fungus to happen.
Oh, dude, that was. Thankfully, we were camped with other guys too, and like, dude, we got to the fucking fire, and this dude was cooked up some fatty ribeyes. It was like, dude, it's solid. I'm good to go again.
Nothing better.
good to go. Redo.
It's a good time,
dude. Yeah, it was fun. It was a good little trip. That shit reminds me of a lot of like horseshoeing type people, like competitive horseshoeing people. They're like, just enjoy a little bit of a suck fest sometimes.
Some about it that's just enjoyable.
It's bonding too. Yeah. It's like, you're like, yeah, me and that dude, we did fucked up shit together to ourselves.
Well, like you see, like people get done with a go or whatever, and like it's always thank you. Like it's like you bonded in a way through that hour.
They know what you've been through.
Yeah, those are the things that are fun.
They got an idea, dude.
Some people they hate suffering like that. And they
Yeah, I
won't
think
do it
that,
because they have to suffer like that.
and they know it's going to be a little bit of suffer. I think they just don't think of all the times where it's like, yeah, it's gonna suck, but afterwards, so worth it.
Yeah, so
It's the afterwards that you're like, fuck,
we did that.
I did that. You gain some confidence.
Yep.
Like, I think confidence is like the biggest thing. You're like confident, like, I have this skill now. I know I can do it this time. And it's like, I know I can do hard things.
Yeah. Yeah, if something hard comes at you, you can
Just fucking
embrace
do it.
Yeah.
Say, not gonna die. Keep walking. Just keep going. It's like, you're gonna be all right.
I almost had a
You're
horse
gonna be all
freaking
right.
break my leg 2 weeks ago. The horse was Shivers, and I've shot it now for quite a while, and it's been fine. And it was the off leg that isn't affected. So I went to go pick it up and pull it onto the hoof stand, and
Yeah.
it just fired out fat. Like, I've done it so many times, like with this. It's like, it's one of those things you just kind of just going through the motions, right?
Yep.
And those are the ones that get you. And it like grazed my apron and damn near took my shin. Like,
Popped it, dude.
it was so close. Like, I was alert and awake after that. Like, it's like, whew, that was a doozy.
It doesn't need finished.
I finished it, but golly, that was scary.
Oh, dude! Every once in a while, you get a reminder of how strong they are.
Yeah, and just how volatile it can be. You have to be alert and awake. Pay attention.
Yeah, be aware what the fuck's going on. Be conscious of
yeah,
this is a real animal.
It's crazy to me seeing like some people like just the stuff they do, like pushing around on horses and just grabbing legs, and it's like, man, it's just a simple instant like that, and it could be a bad day.
And they do sometimes. Horses just decide that it's like that's kind of enough.
Yeah.
I'm gonna strike back a little bit here.
Yeah, I'm fed up.
Man, there's not many people like they're strong. There's not much you can do to decide against it when they decide to kind of come at you a little bit.
Not unless it's a 150-pound mini.
Even those little fuckers, dude. Those little, I hate them. It's like the worst,
think they're cute.
dude. The donkeys, the little donkeys are the nastiest little freaking animals,
dude,
in the world.
There was a time Meg almost died from 4 donkeys.
Oh God!
It was when I still lived in Texas, and Robert Chooks and I had to go trim these 4 donkeys and then go meet up with him, and we were going to drive up to Oklahoma for the state contest. And so I was on my way, and I let Meg out, and she just goes wandering through, and it's just like 3-rail fence, and she just wanders in the pen, and those donkeys, they've seen her, and they ran at her, dude. And they were stomping the shit out of her. Like, I thought she was going to die. Oh, and she made it out through unscathed. Like, I was like, holy smokes.
Somehow.
From that moment, I was like, I don't like donkeys no more.
Somehow she made it out of there.
She made it unscathed. I was like, wow.
Oh, God.
So lucky.
Dude, that's another reason to hate them.
Yeah. Come after me.
They're nasty. They're nasty. Well, dude, yeah, good to get on here for a little bit, do a little chatting.
Yep. We didn't leave you guys.
No, we're still alive.
Yeah.
We know everybody else is busy too, and it sucks too because it's like we always know this is the time everybody wants podcasts to listen to because they're sitting in the rig working a bunch. But so we're gonna try to get back up on top of it. We're still around.
It's that time of year.
Yeah, exactly. So everybody just stay safe, be aware, and keep busy. Have fun.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks, everybody.